know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
If you want to
You
learn,
know,
you're going to. My grandmother used to
yeah,
say that shit
yeah.
to me all the time. When it does, she never would blame anything on a teacher. She said, when a student is ready, the teacher will be there. It's up
Mhm.
to the student. The student got to be
Yeah.
ready to receive learning. Because if
Mm.
you want to
Hey,
learn,
Braz,
won't
I got
nobody
one
be
for
able
you.
to stop
Hey,
You know,
hey, Braz, I got
he
one for you.
also
Wait, we're
James,
live. Wait, we're
you hear
live.
me? Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I got a person. I got a person. James Weldon Johnson. James Weldon Johnson is the brother that wrote the Black National
Lift
Anthem.
every voice, right?
Yep, Okay. Yep.
It's very voice. Okay.
But why is it important? Like when I'm saying obscure, I mean like give us some kind of connection to you, how they maybe motivated you to do something or something like that. You know what I mean? Like mine is a
I
little
actually have
weird.
to do. I wrote a report on them fucking elementary schools. So that's how I know about it. Like when I said that, when I told y'all my teacher told me that, James Weldon Johnson was the person that I picked. Fuck he was. So I learned a lot of shit, off of that.
My favorite person,
Right,
Black
go chef, you
American.
going first. Go chef.
My favorite Black American is Gladys Knight. You feel me? So yeah, Gladys Knight. That's my
Well,
one
why though?
because
Like what was what's
I
unique to
think
her for you?
I think Midnight Train to Georgia is probably one of the greatest songs ever recorded. You
Why?
feel me? So because it's beautiful, and she
No, I'm
sung the
saying like what was the how you connect though with that song over like any like Aretha or Patti LaBelle or anything like that? Was
it
it?
was the soul in it, is
Mhm.
the execution. You know what I mean? Everything. I think that's just an amazing song to me. You feel me? So I'm gonna go with Gladys Knight. I'm
All
weird
right,
like that.
all right. Chef is Gladys Knight. Okay, okay. Who next? I knew this was gonna happen.
I'll go
Mo,
real quick. I'll go real quick while I got a few minutes. My favorite Black American has always been Condoleezza Rice, right? She, back in the Bush when she was Secretary of State.
I got one. I
Hold on,
posted
bro.
him
You
in the
can't hear
chat
Corey.
yesterday.
Corey going. Corey going.
Tano Poser.
Corey is
He's an
going.
Afro Cuban dude. Oh my
Hold on,
bad. I
Corey.
ain't hear it. I ain't hear it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Finish, Corey, because he said he ain't had a
Yeah,
lot of time.
yeah, because so like back in the Bush administration, you know, the presidency was looked at a lot more different than it is now, and it was a lot more prestige. I think the United States was actually, had more of a kind of stronghold over the world's kind of geopolitics and the economics, right? And Condoleezza Rice, like her genius, like her being so smart, she was able to pull off a lot of diplomatic moves that I don't think other administration or other secretaries of state rather was really able to kind of like consolidate, the United States power throughout the globe. You know what I'm saying? I I think that her in combination with some of the generals and Colin Powell and those types of people. Like I think that's when the U.S. was at its peak. I think as far as economically, militarily, and controlling the geopolitical narrative is global. I think no other administration kind of controlled that the way the Bush administration did, and I think Condoleezza Rice, due to her kind of diplomatic abilities, right? I think she was kind of key to that administration, and her being a Black woman, right? That put her, to me, in my opinion, that put in her position. So when she was in the time and in her position, she was the most powerful Black woman that ever lived.
Expound on that part right there. That's amazing. Explain that part right there.
Because the power that the U.S. had, right, over the geopolitical, the Donna, she was making those decisions. It was her diplomatic, abilities, her know-how, her, you know what I'm saying, her experience, her charisma. She had the education, the charisma, and the experience. You know what I'm saying? Plus the ties also, right? So like when she move about, the globe and do these different meetings and sessions with different world leaders, right? She was the one leading the way. She be at the head of the table. You know what I'm saying? They send Condi. Anytime it's a problem anywhere in the world, they send Condi to handle that. And when Condi get back, shit's gonna be in place. They know when Condi step off that, if Condi pull up in your country, when she step off that plane, whatever she want to be had done, whatever she's there to get done, it's gonna be done when she get back on that plane. Right? That's Condi right there. That's how President Bush always referred to her as Condi. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, she that motherfucker. She about that business, and everybody in the world knew that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, like, I don't think there's no time in human history where a black woman had that much power.
Nzinga.
My God.
Absolutely.
This is Nzinga.
Hey, Corey, that was dope, though.
For people going after Corey, that's what I want right there, bro.
Yeah, that was dope.
Not just, hey, man, I really like Midnight Train to Georgia. You know what I mean? This asshole. Yo, he gets so frustrated, nigga, just say.
Fuck off. So you got him. We fucking got him.
That's how you actually know you got somebody. They can only say that. All right, so hopefully Chef go again so we can get something better.
No, I'm good. I'm good with Gladys.
Gladys Knight. Corey, who's next? Don't all go at once.
Sister Safa just came in. I mean, she might not.
You
know
talking? Why don't you go now?
Right.
I already did mine. Ronald McNair.
No,
hey, Ronald McNair. Now I gotta go. Talk about him. Tell us what he did.
I mean,
how he changed your life.
The first black astronaut. That's what was instrumental. Inspirational to me. And just a lot about his story. Like Corey just gave that bit about him stealing the books. I didn't know that. He died at 35. He died young because he died in that joint. But
he died in an explosion. He died where he wanted to die at. Like he already knew where he was gonna die at. But he logged the most. They don't go outside the space shuttles no more. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that kind of. They got robots and stuff to do that, right? But before it had to, when they would shoot up in the air and they had to and lower Earth orbit, right? And they had to fix the satellites and shit. You had to do that with a screwdriver and a wrench and shit, right? Guess who was doing that? And guess who logged the most hours outside of a spaceship? And every time, most every time in those days, right? Everybody got a job to do, right? Everybody's got a different job to do on the space shuttle, right? Most people ain't. The job is to communications and make sure the shuttle run right? But when they was flying, the problem that needed to be solved, Ron McNair was always the problem solver. He was always the one to get out of the space shuttle, right? Put on his spacesuit, you know what I'm saying? Get out the space shuttle, climb out there and wrench on the goddamn satellite, right? He was integral, just like the sister, Miss West, right? He took her mathematics. Somebody did a show on the sister Miss West that contributed to the GPS, right? He expounded. He took on that mathematics, right? and put it into practical use. You see what I'm saying? So that's and so the laser, any laser technology, that's all due to Ron McNair's work, right? And then also, like I said, he the one who going when we used to have human beings go out and wrench on satellites and the GPS positioning and all of that type stuff, right? He was the one, he logged the most hours outside of the space shuttle.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they called him Gizmo. Like his love for technical. That was his nickname. His nickname was Gizmo, as a matter of fact.
That's
Listen,
fire, bro.
listen, Corey saved your entry, Smalls. Corey, you 2 for 2. That's why I keep Corey around. I was wondering.
That's why
why
you
the
keep
fuck-
him
Yeah,
around. That's
I was
a
wondering
beautiful
why
choice
he-
of words.
Yeah, I was like, why
You know,
you-
but he just keep me around, man. He
He just
tolerate me.
keep you,
He
exactly.
tolerate me.
Hey Corey, I know the Midwest in you heard it exactly how I heard it. That's why he just tolerates you. Just he
Yeah,
throw you a few scraps just to keep you going.
I kept wondering, why do I keep this crazy motherfucker
You just
around?
and the
And
Baltimore
that's why.
nigga just go keep going on. Don't know where to stop.
That's why I fuck with Corey.
But
Yeah,
no,
man,
that's
you
that's
just-
good though. That's see, nobody would know. I didn't even so sadly, I think I probably heard of him before, but I don't think I ever did any research into him. I would have never had no reason to. That's good to know. I didn't know. It's a black person that logged the most hours outside of the spaceship.
Yeah, and I said he was the first.
Also, he was the first human being to play a musical instrument in lower Earth orbit. He
Yeah,
played the
Yeah,
saxophone.
he was a musician too. He was a musician too, a jazz.
Motherfucker sound like
he was a jazz.
Yeah,
He was
super
a jazz
Negro.
saxophonist.
That nigga James Small's cousin. Super Negro.
Super.
And the nigga could dress his ass off, Brass. You hear me? The
he was sharp.
he was to the nines every time you see him, bro. Every time you see him.
It was to the nines. Hey, you gotta be sharp for a motherfucker to say you was to the nines, bro. To the nines. To the nines.
Yo, what that makes sense. Because you can't get no flyer than the astronaut. So that makes sense.
No question.
That's a ball.
Hey,
Hey,
That's a ball.
you got your pen out?
Yeah, you fire. You on fire right there.
You got to get your pen out for that one. I need to hear that one in a song recently.
That nigga Shepard dropped 3 today.
Hey, matter of fact, shit. While I got DQ, go ahead, DQ. I'm trying to get Psycho to. Hey, we're gonna pull from the chat. Y'all join the Discord. Give us your most obscure. Try to be obscure. Like McNair is not obscure, but he's not somebody that everybody talks about. So give us not named Malcolm X, not named MLK, and then we're gonna DQ. Yeah, the bar is raised.
Yeah,
I bet you DQ.
I got one.
You want to go? Or you want to let go?
Let me go. Let me go.
DQ next.
Yeah, DQ, and then I'm gonna go to you, fella.
All right. The person I chose, I'm gonna do it connects to many people may have just got a glimpse of this dude because he was represented by Q in the movie. But who I'm choosing is Doris Miller. My boy Doris Miller. Sometimes people say Dory Miller, but he was the mess hall naval person who got up on the gun during Pearl Harbor and shot down 2 Japanese. He was right here from Waco, Texas.
QB, you got me your mic.
I was definitely all right. Bet a lot of people, if they didn't know, Pearl Harbor, one of the first only time attack here on homeland. Japan started bombing kamikazes. My boy was in the mess hall area, came from there, seen an unattended 50 cal anti-aircraft gun, got on there and started handling business. He was awarded the Naval Cross. He actually is going to be the first African American to get a. They're going to do it. It's going to be called the USS Doris Miller. But that's coming in the future. He already has a free gate named after him. We have a YMCA named after him here in West. That's how all us prominently know about him, Doris Miller, because YMCA in East Waco, Texas. But prominent black supporter of the U.S. military and of Black cause. He was from a sharecropping family right outside of Waco. We all know about him just for tenacity, and no matter what they try to label you, step outside that bubble and become something greater. And so, yeah, I'm representing for my man Doris.
Fine. Fine. And he didn't spell Doris Miller.
Yes, sir. Doris Miller. If you know
That,
it,
that was good shit.
Pearl Harbor, when they show Cuban Gooding
I
Jr.
think they
getting out
made a
there.
movie of him.
Yeah, that's
Oh
him.
wait,
Make a
that
movie
was
about him.
him. That was him
That was him.
in the movie Pearl Harbor. Oh, okay. I
Yes,
know
sir.
exactly who that is. Okay,
That's my
I
man,
know
Doris
exactly who
Miller.
that is.
Yeah,
That's even more dope than
I thought that was
DC.
just
Dope,
part
dope,
of the
dope.
movie. I didn't know that was like a real thing.
that was a
I
real
thought
thing.
that was just part of the movie. Oh shit!
That's why they threw that in
Now
there,
I
bro. He
feel
really
bad.
did.
For real, bro. I didn't know. I thought that was just movies. They just be doing shit. I didn't know that that was actually like a thing.
Nah, that was him. He did that, bro. He was in the cafeteria. He was on pass out the beans and broccoli. Got up on the gun and handled business. Saved a lot of U.S. lives. So no, we definitely love Doris.
Okay, go ahead, Gullah. I don't know if Gullah's still here.
Hold on, can y'all hear me good?
Yeah, go ahead, Gullah.
Can
Floor
y'all
is
hear me
yours.
good?
Yeah,
Yes,
floor
sir.
is yours.
I kind of got two. My first one is longer than the second.
Okay.
My first one is Zora Neale Houston. Hurston, the
Oh yeah,
African
Zora Neale
American
Hurston.
anthropologist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was an anthropologist back in the 1950s shit. But she was a woman before her time, well traveled and all that shit. And even even her being one of these words ballsy or strong, a strong black woman that even questioned organized religion at her time, which was agnostic. In them time periods. And plus her work on African American history and the connection and the Africanness that African Americans have even to this day. The Africanness we have in our culture. She documented that very well. And even like African culture throughout after the Africa. And if you even study her, a lot of these schools, so-called that so-called conscious memory, skip over. But when you study her documentary on African Americans and her connection to Africa, she don't ever once mention Egypt, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? She send us back home to West Africa. You know what I'm saying? To actually her work. And traditions that we still do that's mixed into our, creolized or diaspora culture. And my second one is Chano Pozo, who is a
Spell that.
Afro-Cuban huh?
Spell it.
Say what now?
Spell
S
it.
H A Chano Pozo, Pozo.
Okay.
And he was an Afro-Cuban musician who actually did work with the Dizzy Gillespie. And if it wasn't for him, the way we listen to jazz today wouldn't be like it was. They even introduced Afro-Cuban jazz. Him and Dizzy Gillespie created that, and it changed even how we look at salsa and jazz today. You know what I'm saying? Some of the instruments and the percussion that he added to the art, to the jazz or African American jazz.
That's fine. But now, did you learn about it when you was younger, or is that something you caught on to you when you was older?
Uh,
The
kind
jazz
of kind
part,
of both.
the
You know
second
what I'm saying?
person.
Kind of both. You know what I'm saying? I knew
Okay.
about them, but I learned a lot more.
Okay. Dope. Who's next? Mujasi, Logic, Isonic, Rush. Y'all got anybody?
Our Sonic gonna say Nipsey Hussle.
I just got in here. What y'all talking about?
Yeah, I got
Uh,
one. Give me about 3 minutes, and I'll grab somebody. I got somebody.
Okay. Famous. Yeah, no. The most impactful black historic person to you, not named Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. So something obscure that maybe that you connected with, but not like if you had to write a report as an adult, who would that person be for you? And just explain who it was and why they impacted you.
I might say King Leopold III.
What?
Damn.
Yeah, his
Who
negative.
was
He
he
not
first?
black. He not
Who was
black.
he?
He
Who was
Oh,
he
black
first?
person.
You said,
yeah, black
are you
person.
fucking serious? That you crazy? Or you that nigga's fucking. That nigga's
No,
a
I mean
racist.
that's what I would have
Hey,
wrote about. I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
have
So,
wrote
so
about.
could y'all let him? Could y'all let him talk, bro?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
let
I
man.
would.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like what
Yeah,
y'all doing?
for
I
black
just said the most
for black
impactful to
people.
him, and y'all trying to cuss him
no,
out.
no. I'm thinking this racism and disgustingness like shaped the world after, like
The
not
mic
in a
went
good
out. The
way.
mic went out. Logic. The mic went
Yeah, I'd have been talking about how fucked up he was and how much of an impact
out.
it
Go
left
ahead and
on
do
the
it.
rest of the
Go
world.
ahead and do it. Do it.
But
This
no,
is
I
your
mean,
shit. Tell them niggas shut up.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out what y'all talking about. So, as a black
Nothing. Go
person,
ahead. Kill them niggas. Tell me more.
nah, he was just he was like damn near solely responsible for all that violence and fucked up shit in the Congo. You know what I'm saying? I think he kind of like paved the way for a lot of the attitudes and shit moving forward in the slavery shit. Like he was like super fucked up.
So now, would you say you putting the blank? How much of slavery are you putting on him?
I got you. Logic. I got you. Because it wasn't for him. It won't be the lot of them next
Right.
national shit like that.
Okay. I didn't know who
Kind of
King
get what.
Leopold was.
Yeah, he was like one of the
Y'all
most
kind.
diabolical
Yeah.
motherfuckers ever in history, bro. Like, yeah.
So you think he's the most? So now, okay. So we got that one. Now, give us a African. Give us a black person that's black that impacted you. Like that's not Martin Luther King. You looked up to, was inspired by, motivated by, or you thought their story was very interesting. Give us like a black person. Like I like that connection that you did with King Leopold. I like that. But give us somebody like a black person.
That was dumb as fuck. Go ahead.
You back of the classroom, niggas. I truly hate y'all.
Back in the classroom.
Yeah,
Hey,
always the
yeah.
guy in the back of the classroom, bro. Nigga done shared this information.
Hey,
The teacher told him he did a good job, and it's the nigga in the back of the classroom. Hey, that was stupid.
No, I guess I'm gonna just take the low hanging fruit, man. W.B. Du Bois is like he like that nigga on some shit.
But why to you though? Why was W.E.B. Boys that to you?
Well, because he's a thought leader at a time at a difficult time in history for black people, and I think that he promoted a lot of really strong ideas that we still, in some regard, attempt to like recreate or like revitalize today. You know what I'm saying? As far as like putting plans together that help the black community. So I would just take him as low hanging fruit. I want to definitely say Thurgood Marshall, but I'm just gonna stick with W.B. Du Bois for now.
And he warned us against Garvey too.
Well, see, here's what I'm gonna say. Logic, I'm gonna ask you to go deeper with Du Bois. I want you to tell me which Du Bois are you talking about? Are you talking about souls on black folks? Soul of Black Folks Du Bois? Are you talking about Darkwater Du Bois? Are you talking about Pan-African Du Bois? And then there's various iterations of Du Bois in between that too. So follow back and let me know which Du Bois are you talking about.
I'm definitely more familiar with Souls of Black Folks Du Bois. I haven't even opened up the Blackwater one that you talking about.
Darkwater.
Is that like his later work? Is that what he?
Yeah. It's his later work. Yeah. Because Du Bois had different iterations. He didn't transform himself entirely, but he evolved from some of his politics, and some of it he strafed away from having contentions with the middle class Negro movement of the 1920s and 30s. So and then he started having conversations with socialists and communists, and then he broke away and embraced nationalism and started having intercontinental conversations and discourse with continental Africans. So you got to figure out which Du Bois are you talking about, because the Philadelphia Negro and Soul of Black Folks Du Bois is a different Du Bois than the one who retired in Ghana and passed away there.
Yeah, that definitely don't sound like that Du Bois that I would be talking about. Definitely.
All of them was dope, though. All of them was dope.
Absolutely.
All of them was dope. You can't go wrong.
There's one that was a
Brad, come on, Brad.
No. There's one that I ain't with. There's one that I ain't with. There's one Du Bois that y'all can keep. That one that went to Africa.
Brad.
That one that went to Africa.
The one that went into Africa.
To write up the autobiography for that dictator or whatever he was doing. Come on. And then he ended up because he gave up on America.
How you gonna tear him down?
I'm not tearing him down. Go back to the class with your ass. What I'm saying is, the one that gave up on America and said, I'm going to this dictator's country to write I think it was called the Encyclopedia of all, some kind of weird thing. And that great man that we know as W.E.B. Du Bois ended up, he died in Ghana, literally, I just think his ending, and this is just personal to me, I think his ending, and I don't hate that person. I'm just saying, when you watch a great movie about a great person, the story ending like that just didn't fit for me. So I'll say that. I won't say that I didn't like it. I'll just say I'm not gonna say I didn't like that version, but I just picturing W.E.B. Du Bois with how great he was, dying, writing a book for a dictator in a tent in Ghana. That just irked me, bro.
Yo, you still going in?
Yeah, because I got a mouth and it's a free country. Fuck boy. Yeah, fuck off. Yeah.
I think I would go as far as to say I don't like that W.E.B. Du Bois show. I think that's definitely veering us off in the wrong direction.
We're gonna follow up.
We're gonna a statement. We can move on. We can always
we're gonna follow up and investigate that Du Bois a little bit more and put some context to him. I promise I'll make some time to that. But let me ask y'all this. I'm sorry I'm moving, trying to get some stuff around for a meeting I'm doing. Have y'all ever heard of Septima Clark?
No.
Oh, okay. So Septima Clark is technically, people have termed her the mother of the movement. She's considered the mother of the civil rights movement. She's a Charleston, South Carolina woman who was, for the most part, an educator and an organizer. She was significant for training many of our Black educators in the South. So she helped to co-found and create and publicize the citizenship school movement in Carolina. And she was instrumental to the NAACP chapter until the NAACP attempted to close down some of the pieces because of the situation it was in 1956, and she refused to stop her education and her movement and what she was doing. So she broke off with the NAACP, but still became kind of like a core leader and stakeholder in the movement, but she just fell out because she didn't want to stop what she was doing. Part of her work as an educator is that she taught numerous Black folks the literacy development. And the key piece is that she was kind of really the architecture behind the freedom, this 1964 freedom school movement in Mississippi and Alabama. They took her model and template and continued that kind of regenerative process in educating people to prepare for not only literacy to vote, but how to be constitutionally involved with their local politics. At the end of her career, it's estimated that this sister trained at least 10,000 trained educators in the South.
Damn.
She had a touch point of 10,000 educators in the South. And she also was instrumental through her school movement, the citizenship school movement, of getting at least 100,000 Black folks registered to vote and understanding the literacy test in order to pass the literacy test that they use to prevent us from voting. So she had deep relationships with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. She was involved with the Highlander Folk School in Tennessee. And she was just an instrumental architecture. And, you know, for me, I fall in love not only with Black women who was a part of the movement, but I love Black women who did the work and didn't sign their name on everything. They just loved, they was a part of that service level. So like Juanita Blackwell in Mississippi, Octavia Gray, Septima Clark, Ella Baker, like you won't know about these Black brilliant feminist architectures unless you know the annals of our history. And so my person that I will put on the table, this obscure Black history moment, is Septima Clark, and I land there.
Quick question.
Yes,
Why
sir.
Why would you say, other than her not signing her name to stuff, similar to like Bayard Rustin, why would you say she's not as known as
others?
As maybe she has to, like if she's the mother of the movement to some, why is she unknown to others?
I think most of it, and here's, I'm gonna be honest with you, when we look at, when she,
class ass nigga.
Yeah, I know, he always got to do something, but here's the piece, and I have to be honest with this assessment. By the 1970s and the 1980s, many of our narratives and histories that was recorded and discussed around the civil rights and the Black labor movement was done from a masculine narrative. It was done from talking about men in the movement. And so women wasn't oftentimes elevated to the plateau of talking about their contributions and how much they played a significant part. When we think about the Montgomery boycott, our earliest memories is that we hear Martin Luther King, and we may hear about what's my guy name, who's the Pullman Porter, E.D. Nixon, but we don't talk about Joanne Robinson. We don't talk about, and we may hear about Parks, yeah, Rosa Parks, or maybe Claudette Colvin, but we don't hear about the women who were actually the organizers, the women who was actually setting the committee meetings and taking the notes and making the phone calls, or the ones who was educating people and coordinating the people. We don't hear about them. And because oftentimes, again, we hear about the John Lewis's, we hear about the Ralph Abernathy's, and we tell the story from those perspectives. Even some of the most obscure people in history, like your Bayard Rustins and your Richard Dixons and your Charles Hamilton Houstons, we don't hear much about them because the champions, oftentimes the Black male champions, get the narrative, the biographical analysis constructed from their experiences and from their lens, but not from the sisters. So it wasn't until the late 90s, and I hate to say this because I have this kind of thing against Black feminism. I love them, but at the same time, I struggle with it. That's another conversation for another day. But it was the Black feminists of the late 90s who began to elevate a lot of these women back. You know, they started to bring their notes and their annotations and their bibliographies and their narratives back into the forefront. They started moving away from those who was adjacent to the history based on marriage, like Claretta Scott King and Betty Shabazz. We started looking at who were the women that were the champions that was not necessarily affiliated to some remarkable, iconic Black man. And that's when we start getting some of those stories more published and more known and more put on the forefront. And I could give you a few authors who's done some work on elevating, very similar to J.A. Rogers, where they just went through the annals and started pulling out these Black women who were significant, who you wouldn't know their name unless you know some of this history. So yeah, good question, bro.
Nice. Anybody want to go next? Hold on, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give a couple from the chat, and if y'all could speak on maybe a couple from the chat before the next person goes, unless the next person is ready. Cuban, I'm waiting on yours. Matter of fact, Cuban, you can go next after this if you got one. Psycho said he's gonna come in and drop one in a minute. Mansa, he says Hubert Harrison. He said it's a project in Gary, Indiana, named after Hubert Harrison. Anybody got anything on Hubert Harrison? Or Mansa, put something in the chat that you got about Hubert Harrison. Haskell doesn't have one. Haskell, give us an answer.
That Hubert Harrison, that's somebody that Unc always pushing, because he was an atheist and intellectual in the early 1900s. He probably got that shit from over there. But Hubert Harrison, though, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't have no problem with that. He
John Horse.
You know, he was a street preacher, and he drew some of the largest crowds, right, in New York just by speaking out on the street. He could pour thousands of people would come out on the streets in Harlem just to hear yo speak. You know what I mean? So
he was one of the soapbox, because there was a soapbox.
Yep. He was a soapbox person, and what I remember about Hubert Harrison is that he was one of the brothers who was significant with bringing some of the Marxist Leninist ideas to the block and really elevating some of these thoughts. And he was also a Pan-Africanist, and that's what kind of put him on my radar. Is that I was reading a few things. I found out he circulated in critical thoughts and think tanks around around Pan-Africanism and kind of Marxist theory and stuff like that. He's
Black Socrates.
Yep, Black Socrates. He's one of those that C.L.R. James, if y'all know about C.L.R. James.
Yeah, I know C.L.R.
Yep, he highly respected him as one of the local Harlem and New York thinkers and speakers as well too. Yep, definitely Hubert Harrison. Yes, sir.
All right. So he John Horse.
John Horse was a black Indian down in Florida in the Everglades. He fought against, I think, was it Andrew Jackson? So he was a part of those Indian wars, right?
The Great Seminole Wars.
Yeah, he was a part of the Seminole Wars. So he had to actually, you know what I mean? I think, yeah, that's him, John Horse.
You know
so
how
he
I know
fought down in the Florida Everglades.
Yep.
I think it was Andrew Jackson. I think they fought against Andrew Jackson, and so I think him and his tribe and the black people, I think they was a part of the Trail of Tears, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he went to Mexico and founded a city in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. When they moved out west, during the Trail of Tears, I think him and his black people moved into Mexico and started their own town or city there. So John Horse was dope dude. I mean, that's all I got on John.
Let me tell you how I know John Horse, right? So I don't know who John Horse is, but I'm in Wikipedia, and I know him as Juan Caballo. See, now that's how I know him. So that's the same person, right? So so I'm sitting there like, damn, that whole story sounds like Juan Caballo. And now I'm looking, it says John Horse, also known as Juan Caballo. So yeah, I know. And go for John. Yep, go for John. A man of mixed African. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's part of the second. There's the second Seminole War. What?
Yeah, the second Seminole War. Yep.
I love this, boy. We some nerds. I love this shit.
Yeah. It says John Horse, also known as Juan Caballo, Juan Cavallo also, and John Kawaya, or Gopher John, was a man of mixed African and Seminole ancestry who fought alongside the Seminoles in the Second Seminole War in Florida. He rose to prominence. He rose to prominence in the third year of what was to become a 7-year war, when the first generation of Black Seminole leaders was largely decimated, and the charismatic Seminole war leader Osceola, was taken prisoner by the American military general commander Thomas Sidney Jessup. So okay, that's a good one. That's what I mean by obscure. Something that you might have learned it, but you got to read it a little bit to even learn to remember that you knew it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's part of Gullah history too, because a lot of the Black Seminoles were actually Gullah people from the Gullah Coastal Corridor. Florida, the Atlantic coast of Atlanta and
Mhm.
South Carolina. So a lot of them dudes was Gullah Geechee folks.
The Geechee.
His death in his 70s, John Horst faced another crisis when local landowners tried to take the land the Mexican government had given originally to the Seminole settlers. John Horst rode out once more to Mexico City to obtain reaffirmation from the government of their land grant and to put a stop to the local land grab, and he was never heard from again. That kind of, but I mean, he died how he lived, but that's what I mean. The government gave the land to him. Some locals said, fuck the government. He went out to actually address it as a human, and we just never heard from him again. That's man.
Hey, that's a hellified movie right now, though. I would love to watch some shit like that instead of this made up shit, but I like that.
Cuban, tell me when you're ready. If not, I'm gonna just stay in the chat for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, you ready for Cuban?
You ready, Cuban?
Yeah. So for me, because you said most impactful, right?
Man, turn
Most
your energy
impactful,
up.
yes. And then whatever you really want to do. If it's not the answer I need, then we can go back. But I hear you talking on somebody.
No, so mine is El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. That's the most impactful person.
Who is that?
Malcolm X.
He said anybody but
That's
Martin
why I'm
Luther
asking
King and
who is
Malcolm
that?
X.
Yeah, that's why I'm
That's
asking
Malcolm
who is
X. That's Malcolm X's other name.
He said anybody but Malcolm X or Martin Luther King.
I can't do that though, man, because
He said, I can't do it.
Christ.
he was the most impactful.
We ain't looking for the most impact. We're looking for the most obscure impactful. So the most obscure impactful, right? So somebody that we don't readily know that made an indelible mark on your outlook. Who would that be?
Malik El Shabazz.
He gonna say, well, if it's not then Malik Hajj El Shabazz.
He gonna say, well, how about Detroit Red?
He gonna give you every iteration, every phase of my boy Malcolm. Nigga, what the fuck you talking about?
Then Malcolm Little, because he was born and he turned into Detroit Red. Come on, Cuban. I know you know some.
Ain't no other impactful niggas. They don't got to be African American.
As black as you are, Cuban. As black as you are, you ain't got one Cuban.
I mean, no.
I'm not to make posters. You know it.
General Yohana.
Aside from him would be Fred Hampton for me.
Then let's go. Let's go. Talk.
So,
Fred Hampton. Let's go.
So Fred Hampton for me was impactful because number one, he was anti-capitalism. His politics, for the most part, I pretty much am feeling. And he was also impactful because at 21 years of age, he's assassinated. And if you go and review his work, what he did up to 21, he did more. He did a lot of impactful things than most men die ever doing. He, the fact that he was in that time trying to educate people on it being a class struggle and not a race struggle. The fact that he was teaching people that be proud of who you are, right? So he creates the Rainbow Coalition. And in that Rainbow Coalition, he influenced the Young Lords. The Young Lords was formerly a gang in Chicago by Chacha Jimenez. Chacha Jimenez becomes politically educated. and realizes and starts feeling what Fred Hampton and the Panthers were teaching. So he creates the Young Lords, which was inspired by the Black Panther Party, inspired by Black Americans. From that, you get indigenous people involved in it. You get white people, the Young Patriots involved in it. You get Asians involved in it. That's why it was called the Rainbow Coalition. And so the objective was that we're divided over what? A social construct of race? When this is a class struggle. It's a thing of people taking advantage of others due to economics. And the race is just used to divide us. For that to be in the 70s, that's pretty impressive. And I think that I personally think that is a great thing to still do. It did, and then I'm not saying to reinvent the wheel, but I would say refine the wheel.
Hey, Q, I totally. Oh, my bad.
But like, not to there's many different, like we have today. There's many different formations of Panthers. There's 2 different formations of Young Lords Party, the New Era Young Lords, right? You still have the Young Patriots, even those that were original members, and others that are inspiring other poor white people. You then still have AIM, the American Indian Movement. You have other groups of so-called Native Americans that have organizations like that. I think that I just think it's brilliant. I think it's intelligent. I think alliance and getting past certain things and just coming to an understanding that we're human beings and we're all unique. We're all different ethnicities. We're all different nationalities. But at the end of the day, it is a class struggle. It's class. Race is just used. That's the wool over the eyes. That's what confuses. That's why we get in conversations we get. That's why, it's just foolishness. So it very impactful. Very impactful.
That, and I can say that recognition that Fred Hampton has, I can tell that it permeates, because it's crazy that we're naming these people, and I know that people were named after these people from what they did. My dad's name is Fred Hampton. It's literally my dad's name. So I know my granny might have had some type of connection with that, because that's my dad's name. My dad named my brother after Malcolm X. His name's Malik. I named my son after my brother, which his middle name is Malik. So it's always a connective line with the shit, because I love having that connection type shit. I love that my brother's named after Malcolm, things of that sort, because it stands for something. But most definitely, I'm with you on that with Fred.
Cool. I'm gonna go to the chat.
I'm named after the nigga that built the second pyramid. Ain't that crazy?
The bent pyramid, how is it?
I'm gonna go to the chat. So shouts to you, Controy Hi-Fi 8730 from the UK. Shouts to you, brother. Peace to you.
Gang.
Posteria said Kwame Nkrumah. I think we all know who he is. We'll definitely speak briefly on him. Ghanaian politician, theorist, revolutionary, served as prime minister of the Gold Coast from 1952 until 1957, when it gained its independence from Britain. He was then the first prime minister and then the president of Ghana until 1966. An influential advocate of Pan-Africanism, Nkrumah was a founding member of the OAU and a winner of the Lenin Peace Prize from the Soviet Union in 1962. I'll hold my personal stuff against him, but great man. Great man. Frederick Douglass. You know what's funny? Most people bring up.
Hey, bro, before you go, Kwame Nkrumah the same dude when we talking about W.D. Du Bois? You said
Yeah,
that
yeah. I think
dictator.
Posterius is fucking with me. Yeah, Posterius is known for fucking with me. And if I'm timing his comment right, that was literally after I said what I said about W.E.B. Du Bois. But Posterius, you can let me know. Posterius thought one of the coolest niggas in the history that I've met so far. If you look into his story, I remember one time we was in the other place, and he started talking about his story and the stuff that he's done and who he was. Oh man, that's somebody that deserves a show if he ever decides to give it to anybody. Pause. But Frederick Douglass, born Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey, February, Valentine's Day, 1818. Died February 20th, 1895, was an American social reformer, abolitionist, orator, writer, and statesman. He was the most important leader of the movement for African American civil rights in the 19th century.
He ain't. But I don't know if this is a right. It's just a fill in the gap. But you know, he all know Freddie Douglass. He ain't really obscure. He up there with Martin Luther King, Malcolm X type. That's like
Yeah, I
he one of
know.
the usual.
Yeah, I know. But if you ask, you know what's crazy about Frederick Douglass? Frederick Douglass, if you ask people, you know, you start talking about leaders and stuff like that, most people can't tell you much about Frederick Douglass. For some reason.
Actually, a lot of people don't. Yeah, a lot of people don't know what he actually done.
Yeah, they know his name, and they probably know civil rights, they probably know abolitionists, but they really don't know like what he actually like accomplished, what he got done. You know, that like his story, I don't think anybody ever made a movie of it, but that book, Life and Times of Frederick Douglass, I read that cover to cover. But next time somebody in here wants to go, Thunder, come here and tell us your what's the name if you got the time. Next time, whoever's ready next, let me know. Or if somebody
Can I make an observation real quick?
Yes.
So notice the last few icons that we've elevated. Notice how most of them are men. All of them are men.
Can I make another observation real quick?
Yes, sir.
The first three were women. The first three were women.
I'm sorry, I missed them.
That's the first three was women.
Yeah, I named the man.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I named the woman.
Matter of fact,
I named
if
the woman
Douglas,
and
then
the
the
man.
first four were women.
Gotcha. Okay. My apologies.
That's no, not apologies. I never brought that up. I thought that was very impressive that Gladys Knight, Condoleezza Rice, like we started off with women and then you gave a woman and then Gullah gave one. So that I actually appreciated that we started that way.
Absolutely.
I appreciated that.
Absolutely. And I think that I was just making that observation from the little bit that I was listening. And I love this project. This is dope. It was the same piece that I'm coming from is that oftentimes we tell the history from the men's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk, like even just elevating Frederick Douglass, most of us don't know about his black wife, Anna Murray Douglass, who was the significant person behind the reason why he was able to be as successful as he was. She bared the brother 5 children. She was already a freed person. She helped with his role in escape from slavery. She established a family life and a foundation for him to be an activist and an abolitionist. She was economically independent. The sister didn't have, according to state standards, an Anglo-Saxon literacy skill sets, but she was able to run a successful laundry business and clothing business that allowed her to support the household while he was working with William Lloyd Garrison in the abolitionist movement in his early years. She was an activist in her own right, and she was very much involved with some of the literacy development with some of the policies that Frederick Douglass was able to, kind of fortify and understand in his younger advocacy in his younger career. But Anna Murray Douglass is like one of those quiet shadows in history that we only think about when we just look at his marital life. He had a black wife and then he ended up, she passed and he ended up marrying a white woman. But who was Anna Murray Douglass? And this woman wasn't just somebody who made sure his clothes was clean. She was very much involved in her local politics and very instrumental to some of his early thought processes.
Okay, fine. And it's funny because we're going right back into a woman. Y'all stop me whenever y'all want to give one. Madam C.J. Walker. Somebody in the chat says Madam C.J. Walker. American entrepreneur, philanthropist, political and social activist. Walker is recorded as the first female self-made millionaire in America in the Guinness Book of World Records. Multiple sources mention that although other women like Mary Ellen Pleasant might have been the first, their wealth is not as well documented. She made her fortune by developing and marketing a line of cosmetics and hair care products for Black women through the business she founded, Madam C.J. Walker Manufacturing Company. Walker became known also for her philanthropy and activism. She made financial donations to numerous organizations, such as the NAACP, and became a patron of the arts. Okay. At the time of her death, Walker was considered the wealthiest African-American businesswoman and wealthiest self-made Black woman in the United States of America. And they just did a movie on her with the lady from The Help. What is her name? What is her name? I always mess her name up. She's the one that made y'all seen The Help? The movie with the black maids? Where
she made the shit pie. She made the shit
pie. Yeah, she made the lady the shit pie. But you know what? Is her name Octavia Spencer? Is that Octavia Spencer?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, Octavia Spencer. Okay. And by the way, that guy named from the UK, it was Count Roy. So he's either a count or shouts to you, IBM. Yeah, IBM said he's seen the movie. His name was Count Roy, which is really fly. So I just want to make sure that we got that correct. Count Roy Hi-Fi. That's a fly ass name. IBM says Harriet Tubman. Hysteria says Avery Brooks. Why does that sound familiar? Avery Brooks. Who's Avery? Is that Good Time? Is that Good Times? No, that's not Good Time. Who is Avery Brooks? Hold on.
He played for the Rockets.
Boy, it's lonely in the back of that classroom. Avery Brooks. Yo, he is an actor, but I didn't know. I never knew this guy's name. If y'all look it up, I can't put it in the chat because we're in Discord, but look up this guy's name. He played, y'all ever saw Spencer for Hire?
Yeah.
He was the black bald head guy.
The bald head brother. Okay.
Right. I know him from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. His name was Hawk on Spencer for Hire. And he had his own show called A Man Called Hawk. Oh, he was the black doctor on American History X. Okay. American History X has one of the nastiest scenes in the history of filmmaking that I still can't watch.
Oh my goodness.
The bite the curve.
When he made that man bite that curve. I've only seen that one time. I've never watched that shit again. I don't know why that bothered me, but that bothered me. Life.
I can't even watch that shit.
Yeah. Can I tell y'all a quick story on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
In my younger days, and I'll make this real quick because I know I'm going to go to the next person. In my younger days, I used to be a servant intern to the Freedom School Project here. You know, it's a 6-week summer enrichment program that help Black students understand literacy, get them involved with servant learning projects, and just kind of, build on young people. So my early 20s, they take you to get trained into that. You go down to Tennessee for like a week and a half. They put you through this whole IRC curriculum that teaches you how to implement the Freedom School curriculum. You get all this history about the Civil Rights Movement, the 1964 Mississippi Freedom Summer, and the Freedom School Project, and you come back charged up, right? So I looked at the curriculum that we had to do for 6 weeks to young people, and I had some middle schoolers. I said, man, some of these books are cool, but we're going to get a little bit more radical, and we're going to substitute this book with this book, and we're going to do this. I'm young, stupid, naive. And I said at the end of the week, every week, we're going to watch a dope Black history movie. So my dumb ass said, we going to watch American History X.
Oh Lord.
I seen the movie one time and forgot about the curve scene.
Oh.
And so I'm like, man, you know, I'm getting my young people hyped up, saying we finna talk about racism, we gonna do this, you know, in my 20s, dumb as motherfucker.
You traumatized them.
I traumatized the young people, man. And
There's some kids right now that will never forget you.
Well, here's the thing, because I've seen mostly all of them, and all of them give me props and everything like that. But the parents, I know I'm on recording. I'm gonna say this. I deeply apologize. I did not know. I was excited to build the minds of my young people, and me not knowing that you have to scaffold and really take into consideration the emotional maturity and preparation for young people to be exposed to content like that. And I had a couple of young brothers and even this young girl in my class, and they wasn't ready yet. Their parents have not exposed them to stuff like that or even talked to them on deeper conversations, and they seen that image. And a couple of them had some bad dreams. And the parents came back and talked to us and they complained. And I had to receive that. I had to take that. I had to be like, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? And so my coordinator kind of pulled us to the side. We had a long hour conversation. I went beyond just a letter. I addressed the parents as much as I can, and I apologize. And it was a complicated ordeal, but that's how graphic and the imagery, that's how like impactful that imagery was. If you're not careful, you can expose somebody to that scene and mess somebody up for a long time.
Yeah. That was a rough one. That scene. I mean, it's the truth, right? So I get it. But there was a couple scenes in there, where they tried, you know, in the shower. That was a little crazy. It was a crazy film. But it got the point. But he was the black doctor, the psychiatrist in that movie for the white guy. He was best known for his television roles. He was an actor, director, singer, narrator, and educator. He played Benjamin Sisko on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Hawk on Spencer for Hire, and a spinoff Man Called Hawk, and Dr. Bob Sweeney. And he delivered a variety of performances. He's been nominated for numerous awards. And he was inducted into the College of Fellows of American Theater and bestowed with the William Shakespeare Award for Classical Theater by the Shakespeare Theater Company. And he's from Evansville, Indiana. Okay, nice. Y'all stop me when y'all want me to, when y'all want to give. I'm just going from the chat right now because they gave a lot. Y'all keep giving them in the chat if you can. Hubert Harrison, John Horst, my man Juan Caballo. Franz Fanon.
Mm-hmm.
Franz Fanon. Who's that?
The infamous Saint Martinique scholar, psychiatrist, who was also a supporter of the Algerian Revolution and was an international African who helped to break down and deconstruct the ancient colonial psychology within the mind scope of Black people and understand how imperialism and colonization restructures the thinking of the African man, of the Black man, of the Negro man. He wrote White Face, Black Mask. He wrote it in French. On his deathbed, on his dying days, he wrote Wretched of the Earth. And he has one other publication, I can't remember the name, but a revolutionary doctor who was struggled against the French Empire. They definitely classified him. He was on the FBI list in America.
Really?
And yes. Oh, yeah. He died. He actually died in, was it Philadelphia? A hospital in Philadelphia. And it was through a contract agreement with the FBI. You know, this brother, he was a doctor. He was a doctor healer who was also a revolutionary socialist who loved African descendants. He was from Saint Martinique. The brother was bad. Like Frantz Fanon was like, you don't have the Black Panther Party without Frantz Fanon.
Why?
Because his ideology, his methods of revolutionary understanding was significant to the early foundations of Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton's thought process to organize military tactics and deconstructing the colonial mind.
Hey, can I do one? Another one?
Yeah. Go ahead. You can do another one.
I got one. Francia Marquez.
Okay.
She's the first black.
Colombia?
She's not the first. She's not the first woman vice president of Colombia.
Yes.
She's the first black woman vice
Afro-Colombian,
president of
brother.
Colombia.
Yes, come on.
And she, I like her the best because she speak out against the traditional, elite, and blacks being included into the political, circle of politics in Colombia, because usually they're not even in the politics circles or, the main face of politics. And she really, she really talks out for her people. She's also from a rural area. She's actually from the area or like the district where my queen is from. Cauca de Valle, where most a lot of the black people live at or at. And she speaks out against racism and poverty and blacks being excluded. And throughout Colombia, but so she, but she represents the face of Afro-Colombians. So I like her. Like when she, I like how she, rock her politics.
I can appreciate that. I could definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
From the chat,
and she stopped. I'm gonna say one thing, and she stopped illegal mining too. In black areas, because people do a lot of illegal mining and they pollute the rivers where a lot of the black people in Colombia, use resources, water resources.
Okay. From the chat, Denmark Vesey.
I actually named myself. Yeah, that's my dude. I actually named myself after his my name Gullah. I actually have Gullah ancestry partially, but I named myself Gullah particularly after Gullah Jack, because Gullah Jack was Denmark's basic right hand man. He was the one that was pushing the brothers, people in the resistance to, focus on the African traditions.
Okay. Denmark Vesey, also known as Telemaque.
Telemaque.
1767 to 1822, was a free black man, a community leader in Charleston, South Carolina, who was accused and convicted of planning a major slave revolt in 1822. Although the alleged plot was discovered before it could be realized, its potential scale stoked the fears of the antebellum planter class.
Scared the shit out of them.
What'd you say?
Scared the shit out of them.
That led to increased restrictions on both enslaved and free African Americans. Likely born into slavery in St. Thomas, Vesey was enslaved by Captain Joseph Vesey in Bermuda for some time before being brought to Charleston. Vesey won a lottery and purchased his freedom around the age of 32. He had a good business and a family, but was unable to buy his first wife, Beck, and their children out of slavery. Vesey worked as a carpenter and became active in the Second Presbyterian Church. In 1818, he helped found an independent AME congregation in the city, today known as Mother Emanuel, the congregation with the support of white clergy and with over 1,848 members. Wow. Rapidly became the second largest AME congregation in the nation. His insurrection, which was to take place on Bastille Day, became known to thousands of blacks throughout Charleston, South Carolina, and along the Carolina coast. The plot called for Vesey and his group of enslaved people and free blacks to execute their enslavers to temporarily liberate the city of Charleston. Vesey and his followers planned to sail to Haiti to escape retaliation. Two enslaved men opposed the Vesey scheme, leaked the plot. Charleston authorities charged 130 men, 31 men with conspiracy, 67 men were convicted, and 41 were hanged, including the late great Denmark Vesey.
Damn, so they sold him out. That's
They
crazy.
sold him out, bro.
Sold him out.
Damn. Sold him out. The next one after Denmark Vesey was Gullah Jack, which is crazy. Okay, so I guess that was his friend. We'll look him up in a second. Does anybody have one in the chat? I mean, in the
Yeah,
Discord.
that's my spiritual ancestor, yo.
Who, Gullah Jack?
That's what I just said. That's the guy I named myself after. I named myself after Gullah Jack. That's why I named Gullah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, good shit. Anybody got one in here? If not, I'm gonna go back to the chat. The chat is actually giving us some good ones.
Yeah, let me throw one out. I mentioned this
Go
sister.
ahead.
I mentioned this sister back in December when we was talking about Kwanzaa, and I was sick as a dog, so I didn't get a chance to just expound on just a little bit of who she is. But Sister Makenyo Sabeko, and this is another example of how our interpretation and our written accounts of history favor Black men than women, because I threw her up in terms of the construction and co-creation of what we now call the Kwanzaa celebration, which we know popularized is more known from Maulana Karenga. But when you look at the accounts of different people who was there on the campus in 1966 during the foundational development, I would say even before that, during the foundational development of Kwanzaa, before the Kawaida theory was being developed, this sister was already involved with appropriating and transforming Eastern African and Central African cultural customs into celebrations for Black folks to be able to reconnect with their African identities. And so part of her celebration was all of the skeletal tenets of what Maulana Karenga was able to really kind of witness and be a part of and absorb into the US organization. So I always like to bring in and add in the more accurate and more detailed history of how some of these come about, because we would think that Kwanzaa was just created by this bald head man with some glasses on, with a beard, and he just sat down and said, I'm going to come up with Kwanzaa. But oftentimes you see that this is a collaboration of various different people, and specifically with this one, Sister Makenyo Sabeko was very instrumental in co-creating, if not one of the progenitors and leaders of what we now call the Kwanzaa celebration. I'll land there.
Good. That's a good one. That's a good one. See, that's what I mean by obscure. Come on, Sid. I know you got one.
Come on, brother. Say it.
Obscure.
Wait, what we talking about? Just like notable, like
the favorite Black historic person not named
favorite. Oh,
Malcolm X. So like an obscure Black history person.
Oh, cause my favorite would probably be Thurgood, but I was watching I came across some video that was talking about like Black inventors, and I saw this dude. I think his name was like Thomas Jennings. I think Thomas L. Jennings, and he I think he had like the first like patent from like an African American, but he like made mad money with a business and like bought his family's freedom and shit.
Yep, Thomas Jennings. But Sid, who's the person responsible for Thurgood Marshall?
Responsible?
Yeah.
I don't know. You might got me there.
Come on, see, we gotta know the names behind the names. We gotta know the names behind the names. No, I know. I'm just teasing you. But we gotta know
who's the phone.
It's Charles Hamilton Houston. He's the guy. Yes, he's. Okay. They call him. He's the father of the Brown versus Board of Education case. He's the architecture to creating what he calls the social engineers, which was the legal think tank, a class of Black lawyers who became instrumental for almost a decade in turning and challenging segregation and eventually culminating into what we call the 1954 Brown v. Board. So Charles Hamilton Houston was a lawyer and an educator, legal educator, who trained Thurgood Marshall and many others in some of our legal successes over the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah, nah, that's amazing. That's incredible.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, most people they build on the backs of the
Legacy.
people
That's right.
that
Absolutely.
that laid down
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, he
foundational.
was his professor at Howard.
Yeah, nah, that's
I
fine.
didn't know his name, but I knew it was his professor at Howard. I just didn't know
Oh,
what his name was.
Yeah, nah, Thurgood did his thing for us, man. So shout out to his big homie too, for sure.
That's
Yeah,
right.
created the legal strategy
Yeah,
to
he
dismantle Jim Crow.
practically took
piece
down
by
Jim
piece.
Crow himself, for real.
No, that's what. Hey, I was just saying that. It says he created the legal strategy to dismantle Jim Crow piece by piece.
What he won, like 20 something, 28 cases, 20 something,
Yeah.
some Supreme Court cases.
98.
98.
Yeah, he argued like 102 and won like 98 of them. Is unheard of. It's nuts.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I know people was kind of hating on the movie, but like, I thought it was quite impressive for him to win a case in a courtroom he couldn't speak in. I'm gonna be real, like that's G'd up.
Yeah, it is.
For real.
Yeah, it is.
The judge barred him from speaking, that nigga still won. Like, man, he cold, bro.
Man, this is so dope, y'all. I'm gonna go on mute because I could have a field day with this. I love
Now
this.
we're gonna need you because everybody ain't the chat's giving some good ones, but they starting to clown a little bit. One dude said Pyru is whack 100. So we starting to get the pure black. We starting to get the humor. So let me see who else we got in here. Give me 1 second. Alex Haley. Okay. Okay. Alex Haley's a good one.
Did y'all say Mary McLeod Bethune yet?
Mary McLeod Bethune?
Mm-hmm. Anybody say
No,
that one yet?
nobody said that one yet.
Okay.
Let me give her proper respect.
Mm-hmm.
That's who started Bethune-Cookman. Is that who that lady is?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. In the flesh. Mary McLeod Bethune was an American educator, philanthropist, humanitarian, and civil rights activist. She was a womanist. She founded the National Council of Negro Women in 1935 and proceeded to establish the Afro-American. I've never heard that spelled that way.
The Women's Journal?
Yeah, but it's spelled in a way I've never seen.
Yeah, I don't know. I never could. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
it's spelled
Afro-American, something like that.
AFRAMERICAN. Afro-American. I'm gonna look that up by itself. Afro-American Women's Journal, which was the flagship journal of the organization. She presided over other African-American women's organizations, including the National Association for Colored Women. Bethune became the first Black woman to lead a federal agency when she was appointed by President Franklin Roosevelt as a secretary to lead the National Youth Association. She started a private school for African-American students, which later became Bethune-Cookman University. She was the only African-American woman to hold an official position with the U.S. delegation that created the United Nations. Wait, read that again. She was the only African-American woman to hold an official position with the U.S. delegation that created the United Nations Charter. I did not know that.
That's crazy.
McLeod also held the leadership position for the American Women's Voluntary Services, which was founded by Alice Throckmorton McLean. Bethune wrote prolifically, publishing in several periodicals from 1924 to 1955. After working on the presidential campaign for Franklin Delano Roosevelt, my favorite president, in 1932, she was appointed as a national advisor and worked with Roosevelt to create the Federal Council on Colored Affairs, also known as the Black Cabinet. Honors include the designation of her home in Daytona Beach as a National Historical Landmark and a 1974 statue as the first monument to honor an African American and a woman in a public park in Washington, D.C. Man, that's a life lived right there, bro. Damn, that's a life lived. That is a life lived. I knew her from her work with FDR, but I didn't know all this other stuff.
Yeah, my grandmother had 7 sisters, and they were all teachers. And I had an aunt that was a teacher. They all, used to talk about Bethune-Cookman when I was growing up. So yeah, that was somebody.
When she was 12, McLeod saw a white mob attack and nearly hang a black man. The man had refused to blow a match out for a white man lighting his cigarette, and then had shoved him to the ground. As McLeod watched, they nearly hanged him. Stopped at the last moment by the sheriff, she recalled later learning about both the terrifying effects of white violence and the value of allying with some white people, those she called calm men of authority. Okay. Afro-American, what is that? Let me see. What does that mean?
Afro-American?
No, not Afro-American. Afro-American. That's the name of her. Afro-American. Yeah, not Afro-American. Afro-American. That's the name of her council. What is that? I don't know what that means, though. Okay, so Afro-American is just a variation of Afro-American. It's an alternative. All right, so I'm an Afro-American from now on. You know, Afro-American. I like that. Afro-American. Carrie Kittles, Ella Fitzgerald. Why don't I know who that is? Go ahead.
You know, you said Ella Fitzgerald?
No. You go, and I'm gonna look up Ella Fitzgerald.
Gotcha.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, Ella
Go ahead,
Fitzgerald.
brother.
Yeah, that's, oh my goodness. I love some Ella Fitzgerald. Music artist, beautiful. Anyway, I'll let you do that one. So there's a contemporary, I argue, that I always kind of elevate with people who talk about Du Bois. And I say, who is the Negro woman counterpart to Du Bois? And most people are like, I don't think there was, but there was. She wasn't as well published as Du Bois, but there's a woman by the name of Anna Julia Cooper. If I was alive when she was young, I would have been chasing her around, asking her to marry me. Anna Julia Cooper is this woman from Carolina, from Raleigh, Carolina. She lived to be 105 years old. She was born in the 1850s. I want to say like late 1850s, and she died in the early 1960s. She was alive long enough to see the Civil Rights and the Voter Right, the Civil Rights Act passed in 1964, and I think she died just a few days afterwards. She lived through various different generations of Black leadership. She was able to meet Douglass as a young woman and live to see a Martin in his highlight, okay? And she offered critique to both. The woman was a philosopher, she was an educator, she had a PhD. In 1892, she published a book called, I think it's called A Voice from the South. A Voice from the South, yeah. Because it's in that piece where we get this infamous quote that says that when and where I enter, the Negro race enters with me. And when you hear the philosophies behind Anna Julia Cooper and why she talks about that the Black woman is the stage of American democracy, the truest practice, if the Black woman is equated and brought into the picture, then America is walking upon the line of true democracy. And she made that argument between the late 19th century to the early 20th century. And she was able to back it up with all of these things that was happening. She earned a PhD in Paris, I believe in the early 1920s, somewhere around that time. And she wrote a bunch of dissertations in French and in English on just the plight of Black folks, Negro people in various different places. She participated in the 1900 Pan-African Conference, the first one to be coordinated and organized by Henry Sylvester Williams. She was a prolific social critic and critique on various different movements that we had, and she helped to organize and support various different movements, from the NAACP to the development of the Urban League, and she participated in the construction and advising of several fraternities and sororities as well too. The sister was bad, but she was very much committed to Black folks and Black folks' success. Most of her work, I understand her from Paula Giddings. Paula Giddings ended up writing a book about 10 years ago called When and Where I Enter. And it's an anthology of all these Black women that we don't know about history. And she elevated Anna Julia Cooper in that work. When you talk about a sister who was, who could she can be on the soapbox on the corner with the brothers and walk in the Ivy League schools and demand respect and space and be recognized for her analysis and her crooked. Man, the sister was bad. Anyway, I'll land there. Anna Julia Cooper.
Fire. That's fire. Ella Fitzgerald. Beautiful woman. Wow. The first lady of jazz. That's how I do it. American singer, songwriter, and composer, referred to as the first lady of song, period. Queen of jazz and Lady Ella. She was noted for her purity of tone, her impeccable diction, phrasing, timing, intonation, absolute pitch, and a horn-like improvisational ability, particularly in her scat singing. After a tumultuous adolescence, Fitzgerald found stability and musical success with the Chick Webb Orchestra, performing across the country, but most often associated with the Savoy Ballroom in Harlem. Her rendition of the nursery rhyme, "A Tisket, a Tasket," helped boost both her and Webb to national fame. After taking over the band when Webb died, Fitzgerald left it behind in 1942 to start her solo career. Fitzgerald's manager was Mo Gale, co-founder of the Savoy. I do know the Savoy. Until she turned in the rest of her career over to Norman Granz, who founded Verve Records to produce new records by Fitzgerald. With Verve, Fitzgerald recorded some of her more widely noted works, particularly her interpretations of the Great American Songbook. Okay. She created with Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, and those partnerships. Oh, she sang that song. I do know this song. These partnerships produced songs such as Dream a Little Dream of Me, Cheek to Cheek, Into Each Life Some Rain Must Fall, It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing. In 1993, after a career of nearly 60 years, Fitzgerald gave her last public performance. 3 years later, Fitzgerald died at age 79 after years of declining health. Her accolades included 14 Grammy Awards, the National Medal of Arts, the NAACP's inaugural President's Award, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It's amazing how we take things that everybody does and somehow we end up with the Presidential Medal of Freedom and National Medal of Arts. That's the beauty of being Black. Like, we can literally just think, oh, well, we're just playing some jazz. But somehow our excellence in jazz and how we maneuver through this world, we end up with stuff like the Presidential Medal of Freedom for just being basically a singer. That's amazing, bro.
Come on.
That's amazing.
It is.
They should have made a president.
Yeah.
Come on.
I ain't gonna argue that. I mean, I didn't. You just said I didn't really know that much about it. That's the end of it from the chat. I want to make one repudiating statement to the chat and the people watching the show. For everyone, what day is it? February 6th. Everyone was asking us to do Black History content. And I remember this from last year that people were asking us to do Black History content. And the thing that I always notice, and maybe we could sidebar a little bit, is that when we do the Black History content, when we do what I quote unquote ignorant content or just barbershop content, we can have 60 people watching, 1,000 comments, 30 people in here in the Discord. But I've noticed that when you ask for it, I don't know if that's what you really want. I'm not sure, because the level of engagement, I'm listening to Chef's voice, Said's voice, particularly Mujasi's voice as we're given this. We're fired up about it and excited, but to be quite honest, I'm not 100% sure the crowd is. So that's not an admonishment, but it's just an observation that this same thing happened last year. I remember Chef, right before he did Ballad of the Bullet, it was basically like a content community show that went crazy. Everybody started yelling, cussing, 80 people in there. Did Ballad of the Bullet, 16 people in there. So just know that when you asking for this, you know, be careful what it is that you ask for, because when you do actual Black history, to give it the respect, there will be no cursing, and we might make a few jokes, but it's not going to be over the top. I just wanted to make that observation. That's all.
Excellent observation. Excellent observation. I like that. I love that. Hey, Chef, you want to tag team Henry McNeil Turner with me?
Who is that?
Yeah, I'm going to go into it, but I want to see if a chef want to tag team with me. He's probably in the middle of doing something. Yeah. So, man, Henry McNeil Turner, a powerful 19th century leader who eventually became intercontinental with his movements. But he was born in South Carolina in the early 1830s. He lived for not as long as Anna Julia Cooper, but he lived for quite a long time. He was able to see the birthing and the burgeoning development of the new Negro movement in the early 20th century. He was a bishop in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. And so he was an AME leader, and he really helped to expand the church and move it across the South. You know, he was one of the instrumental. If you think of Malcolm being instrumental with the expansion of the Nation of Islam, Henry McNeil Turner did the exact same thing with the AME church across southern regions as the Reconstruction era moved and shift and allowed more Black folks to somewhat transverse the different states in the South. He was one of the early Black theologians to really declare that Black man was a god, you know, and he established and he made some arguments clearly from biblical text that the Black man was a Negro. He also had some time and served in the Civil War, you know, as well as too. He was the first Black chaplain in the Civil War and also served in I think he was like the first United Colors Troop or something like that. So, but he was one of those Black folks in the line that advocated for equal pay for the soldiers and stuff like that, which is powerful. We saw that depicted in Glory, the movie, but brothers like Henry McNeil Turner and Martin Delaney was one of the frontline Negroes who was saying, we putting our lives on the line to help, you know, save this union, save this, the United States from falling victim to the Confederate Army. And we want equal pay to be paid just as much as the white soldiers as well, too. He also, during the Reconstruction era, he served in a political office in Georgia in 1868. He was elected to state legislature and got expelled the same year, but he was also part of the claiming the human rights of the Negro of that time, and, you know, having some complications with the Republican Party at that time. But he also, his ideas, as he became more intercontinental and started traveling across the pond, going to the Caribbean and going to Africa, he started to embrace more of a Black nationalist perspective. And he became one of the earliest advocates for Black immigration to the United States, outside of the United States. He started developing connections and ties to Liberia, to Sierra Leone. He argued that Black folks is only going to have freedom in being in some of those national sovereign states like that. He was one of those early Negroes to say we need to move to Africa. This is before Marcus Garvey was born. Marcus Garvey was floating around in the nutsack when folks was already talking about back to Africa type piece. He published, I think, one book, or I think he edited something or published, I can't remember. I don't know if it was like the Black Christian Reader or the Black Christian Recorder or something like that. But I know he has some journals that he talked about some of this politics, his education politics, his race consciousness, and some of those pieces that look with that. And then he was just also instrumental in being a delegate to certain African countries, helping some countries who was like under the colloquial structure of British colonism. He supported some of the Black think tanks and some of those spaces to be able to figure out how we can advocate for the African and the Black rights in some of these British Empire spaces that he controlled. And yeah, the brother had strong ties with other Black leaders of that time. So he had a good relationship with Du Bois, Washington, Cooper. He was close and had I think he collaborated on the Black organization in the mid 19th century that was instrumental with a lot of Black, the Black Negro Council, the Negro Council or something like that in the 19th century. But he had some close ties and conversation with Douglass at the end of his life as well too. So that's Henry McNeil Turner. Brother Gullah, do you know about Tunis Campbell? Brother Gullah probably, yeah.
The name sounds familiar, but you can refresh my memory for it. I'll look.
Okay, so what I remember about Tunis Campbell, and I love looking at his piece, he was one of the most powerful, and at least I think he wasn't talked about as a Black political leader during the Reconstruction. So there was a bunch of brothers and sisters who organized during the Reconstruction time frame, the 7 to 10 years that Black folks had the potential possibility to participate in American democracy. And you get this list of Black men who begin to organize from Carolina to Georgia to Alabama. And Tunis Campbell is one of those persons. He really built and helped to establish and organize Black political power during the Reconstruction era. He was a key Republican leader in the coastal parts of Georgia, and he helped to organize Black folks to be able, freedmen's, to be able to get into voting, political blocks, to hold office, to help people get elected, and to really kind of transform how Black freedmen's at that time begin to learn their particular pieces in like activism and citizenship as well as too. He served as a senator in Georgia from like 1868 to 1871, representing, I can't remember what county in Georgia, but one of his main chief things in his county was that he wanted to protect the voting rights of the freedmen, of the Black folks. He wanted to challenge racial violence because during this moment, it was a very tumultuous, violent time. Because the Confederate Army was suppressed, they wasn't out. And so you have vigilantism, like it was like in the highest peak. The Ku Klux Klan, I think, was created in Pulaski, Tennessee in 1868 by Nathan Bradford. But they was able to inspire numerous different white military militias across the South. And so he was instrumental in trying to advocate that the free Black folks, especially ones who fought in the Union Army, should be armed to be able to protect Black residents in these counties who are now coming off of the plantation and moving into these free areas and stuff like that. He also helped to organize land distribution, okay, to really set the stage for some of the early vestiges of Black economic independence for Black folks who was coming out of slavery. So when we think about islands like St. Catherine's, the Sapelo Islands over in that area, he supported collecting the Black landholding pieces for farmers so we can move into self-sufficiency, so we can be able to plant and put some pieces into that piece. So the brother was bad. He was involved with a lot of judicial pieces, helping to set up legislation on the Republican Party to get some pieces set up for Black farmers and families to be able to have some relationships with those who end up moving into sharecropping, to make sure that they wasn't being exploited by their labor, to try to prevent illegal arrests, to put people back into slavery. So he was a powerful brother at that time that helped to elevate the establishment of the freedmen, the Black folks coming out of slavery and moving into their democratic practices and their ability to be full citizens on the soil. Now, he was one that wasn't for moving back to Africa. I land there.
Oh yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
Good shit. Very good. Well, that if y'all don't have nobody else, that concludes that. Hits gave a few people in the chat.
Did y'all do Zora Neale Hurston?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I just found out recently she was an anthropologist. I ain't really know that for real.
Hit said Robert Smalls.
I brought her up by me being, my beef has having a major anthropology, so I brought her up.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite anthropologists.
Wait, Smalls, is that Ron McNair in that picture? That is Ron McNair in that picture.
Yep. That's who he showed.
Yeah.
Man with the most hours outside of I was about to say a slave ship. Outside of a slave ship in history. I was about to say slave ship.
I had a class when I went to North Carolina A&T. I had a class in the Ron McNair building. They got a whole building named after him and shit on campus.
Hit said Robert Smalls, 1839.
Oh yeah, what was he, like a governor or something?
American. Yeah, he boldly seized the Confederate riverboat, the Planter, in 1862. and sold it to Union forces, freeing himself and others. His act became a powerful symbol of Black resistance and intelligence, helped the Union Navy, and persuaded
Carolina.
President Lincoln to allow Black men to serve in the military after the Civil War. Smalls became a U.S. congressman fighting for civil rights, public education, and racial equality during Reconstruction. And then Hits also put Fannie Lou Hamer.
Yeah, Fannie
Lou Hamer. Fannie Lou Hamer. How do I word this? Fannie Lou Hamer. She, if you see her speak, don't, like, if you get a chance, go watch her speak. Just go watch her speak. She looks like every strong Black woman since the beginning of time. When you listen to her talk.
Come on.
Like, you can see this, like, she looks like the inner city woman from the Bronx, the rural woman from Georgia, the California woman in the living out, like she looks like every single one of them. And when she talks, I make a joke all the time, but sometimes I'm serious. I tell a person when they do stuff like that, they look like their middle name is serious business. Fannie Lou Hamer's middle name, as she's talking to you, and I'm a curse, but she looks like as she's talking to you at any moment, she'll slap the dog shit out of you.
For real. For real.
Dude, she's not playing. And this is Black people, white people, police, congressmen. She don't care. In any room she's in, she gonna tell you the truth. And if you can't accept it and you get too slick, she might slap you.
Come on.
Just if you got the chance, I'm gonna tell you what she did. But if you got the chance, go to YouTube and just listen to 10 minutes of her talk. It'll stay with you. That's all I'm gonna say.
She put Hubert Humphrey in tears.
Yes.
She put that man in tears, checked him with that same face that you're talking about, with that voice, with that charisma.
No buckle. No buckle. No cap in her rap. No cap in her rap.
Come on.
Give her a microphone. She's the greatest rapper. She's the greatest rapper of all time.
There you go.
Give her a microphone.
There you go.
She's gonna get it done, bro. But I'm gonna now tell you what she did. Fannie Lou Hamer was a fearless civil rights activist, best known for fighting voter suppression in the Deep South. As a leader in the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, she challenged the all-white political system and exposed racial violence through her powerful 1964 testimony about the beatings and intimidation. Her activism helped bring national attention to Black disenfranchisement and push forward the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Yeah, she was tough.
She was.
She was very tough, very tough. Today in Black history, Arthur Ashe was born today. The only African-American player ever to win the men's singles at Wimbledon, the US Open, or the Australian Open. We all know him from his fight with HIV, but he was definitely, that's what I miss. Remember we were talking about sweat equity yesterday? We were talking about our leaders.
Yep.
Our leaders back in the day that kind of like were our voices, even though they were athletes, they were just different.
Yeah.
They were like, you could listen to them. They actually had their finger on the pulse. People moved. Arthur Ashe, guys like that, they moved based on when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar used to speak, Bill Russell, Jim Brown, those guys used to speak, Muhammad Ali. When they spoke on issues affecting Black Americans, it wasn't sweat equity that got them in that might have got them in the room, but what caused you to listen and then act was the testimony that they gave.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. This was impressive, brothers. I'm glad I had the time briefly before this meeting.
I have to give mine.
I said it again.
Somebody in the chat just told me I didn't give mine. I got to give mine. Go ahead, and then I'll give mine.
I was just saying that I thank y'all for letting me, have a moment with my inner geek around this stuff, because this is the stuff that I live for. This is the stuff that I appreciate. I want to just emphasize, when you look at the strength and the brilliance and the power and the charisma and the tenacity and the boldness and the strength, all of it, of all of these folks, it's hard not to love us. You're crazy to not love us, if I can say it in my chef voice. You're crazy. This is crazy to think that you to not have a deep love and compassion for who we are and what we're capable of. Like, from Fannie Lou Hamer all the way back to the first few people, I didn't get the chance to hear it, but the few people I heard that Gullah put on the table, like that, you cannot love us. Because like we've done it all. We've created some of the most influential patents that shaped the economic development of America, to establishing some of the most powerful political movements that gave America its true form of what it hoped to be, ideally, of democracy. We've saved our people. We've focused on our people. We've interconnected ourselves to continental struggles and made ourselves positionally powerful and influential to all of our brothers in various different continents and spaces. Like, you can't, it's hard not to love us when you do this kind of biographical investigation of some of the obscure people in our history. I'll land there. I appreciate y'all, brother, so much.
Sorry.
Hey, Brad, if you got room for 2 more?
Yeah, I'm not gonna stop it until y'all stop.
Hey, I got one. Arnie Siemens. Arnie Siemens he was an African slave, but he's African slave in Boston. But he is the father and pioneer for modern vaccination. You know what I'm saying? He used the African tradition of inoculation, of taking smallpox plus and injecting it to the patient that has smallpox to build immunity. If you want to him, he revolutionized the modern medicine. So all those people are black folks that say all this, there's mostly anti-vaxxers. You do your ancestors this justice, because it was our ancestors that created and influenced the modern medicine and vaccination to this day. And I got another one, Annie Marie. I heard somebody say T.J. Walker, but nobody talking about Anna Marie. Anna Marie was actually the boss of that T.J. was also
you chopping screw. You chopping screw, G.
My bad.
Come back. No. Come back. Go out and come back.
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
No, Annie Malone. Annie Malone was one of the first black millionaires, and she was the boss of Madam T.J. Walker before Madam T.J. Walker picked her. And she was a philanthropist, and she also is the founder of Polo College in St. Louis, Missouri. You know what I'm saying? She was a businesswoman too, and had black haircut product that even gave inspiration to Madam T.J. Walker. The people say, talk about, we all know Madam T.J. Walker, one of the first black women millionaires, but it was Annie Malone was even before her.
Okay, fine. That's good information, because she does normally get that kind of credit, but it's good to know the actual information. Someone in the chat gave Francois McIndall, hopefully I'm pronouncing that, McCondell. He was known as McIndall, 1730 to 1758. He was a Haitian Maroon and spiritual leader in the French colony of Saint Domingue, present-day Haiti. Saint Domingue. Well, I don't know. Saint Domingue. Domingue. I'm gonna say Domingue. Present-day Haiti. He is sometimes described as a Haitian voodoo priest or a Hungan. Other historians say he was a Bokor. McCondell's birthplace is not definitively known, but historians have made attempts to find probable areas of origin. French colonial authorities accused him of joining the Maroons to kill slave owners in Saint Domingue and executed him by burning him to death. The scandal over his case. The scandal over his case was the precursor to the Haitian Revolution. So his significance as a figure in the history of Haitian independence has been immortalized through Haitian currency. The association of Mackendal with black magic is due to his Congo-inspired religious practices and reputation as a poisoner. Recent scholarship has disputed the idea that Mackendal ever used poison to kill. That's what I like and don't like about Wikipedia. Wikipedia with that editing, sometimes you can go in there and fix stuff, but I wonder how long this article went with him being recognized as a poisoner, if that wasn't true. Okay, well, I think we are done. Unless y'all have someone to offer, I think we are complete and finished. We good, fellas? All right. Hey, appreciate y'all in the chat. Huh?
Said that was dope.
Yeah. Like people like trauma. Kerry Kittles is crazy.
Didn't he play for the Nets? What I missed?
Yeah, Kerry Kittles played for the Nets. I'm not even looking that up. Who is Orlando? It says Orlando is using my Linnaeus talking point. I don't even know what you're talking about. IBM. Yeah.
Man, he's saying Gullah using his information. That nigga swear everybody use all his information.
I didn't say nothing about no taxonomy. And plus, Paul Linnaeus, even though he was wrong at his time, he wouldn't be no taxonomy that elusive without Paul Linnaeus because he came up with a blueprint.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't even understand science.
I don't even know who that is. I'm just reading through what's names before I end it. Thunder, Elijah Muhammad is by far the GOAT. Hilarious.
No, he did ass.
He said he's dead.
No, he's been saying that for years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's been saying, and he a Christian. You feel me? But he always said Elijah Muhammad.
Wait, he's a Christian?
Mm-hmm.
And he said he's okay.
I mean, you can still recognize somebody as a great American.
No, he said the GOAT. He said the greatest American.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I don't know about that. But I got it. Everybody teaches on. I ain't gonna knock what he
No, so you got to look at it for what he done. You know what I mean? For black people, like, you know what I mean? Like being creating an organization. Well, I'm not gonna defend that shit. So let me stop.
Yeah, I was waiting to let. Hey, I was about to get out of the way and do what y'all tell us to do to Reggie. Get out the way and let Sheriff go ahead and defend Elijah Muhammad.
No, I'm saying I can still recognize, his usefulness and, his impact and, you know what I mean? So I just don't agree with it. So I can't even big him up too much in good conscience. It feel like promoting them somehow, and I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that.
Abram Ganabal. I didn't look that one up. It's crazy the people that these people know. Abram Ganabal. That's why a show like this is more important because you definitely gonna leave.
Is that the Alexander Pushkin father dude? The Russian homie? Who's he naming? What did he say?
He said it's Abram Petrovich Ganabal.
Yeah, that's
he was also known as Hannibal or Ganabal. Or Ganabal, I'm assuming. Abram Petrov. He was a Russian chief military engineer, general in chief, and nobleman of African origin.
Yeah, that was the Moors that should be talking about that, dude. That's how I remember that shit.
Okay. As a child, Ganabal was captured by Ottomans and brought to Russia as a gift for Peter the Great. Shout out to the Ottomans. He was then raised in the emperor's court, with the emperor becoming his godfather at his baptism. Gannibal eventually rose to become a prominent member of the imperial court in the reign of Peter's daughter Elizabeth. He had 10 children, most of whom became members of the Russian nobility. One of his great-grandsons was the author and poet Alexander Pushkin.
Pushkin, yeah, okay. He was the grandfather. All right, I knew it was something like that.
Yeah. And Alexander Pushkin is considered by many to be the greatest Russian poet and the founder of modern Russian literature.
And language, damn near they say, but whatever.
Okay, that was a good one. Catholicism.
And Alexander Pushkin went out like a gangster. He died in a duel in a shootout.
Yeah, in a shootout, yeah.
Africa Online TV says great, no drama show. I agree with you, brother or sister. Africa Online TV says in the show before
That's
we start
Reggie.
the damn timer. Oh, that's Reggie.
That's Reggie. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Reggie.
because we about to talk about Dr. Ben in about 10 minutes, so stay tuned.
Yeah, we need you up here, Reggie.
And
got questions.
IBM said, Chef and Gullah, y'all know I've been teaching the Linnaeus for years.
That nigga crazy.
Yo, that's funny as hell.
IBM, honestly, I think he's one of the funniest people. And I don't even know how serious he is, but I don't want to find out later on that we've been laughing at him. And he actually is one of the more serious guys that watches the show. Because he watches every show. He got to know everything. He done told me he dog walked everybody in the conscious community at one time or another. I'm starting to believe it. Oh, yeah, he said that's Brother Reggie. I didn't know that was you, Brother Reggie. What's up, bro?
Hey, Brass, can I provide one for you? If you could look him up. I'm in the midst of doing something right now, but I'm gonna just elevate him. Dr. Ocean Sweet. Dr. Ocean
like
Sweet.
A tasty drink.
Yeah.
I'm about to go pour me some of that. Hey, give me some of that Ocean Sweet.
Look him up real quick.
Spell that?
Shit for that.
Ocean is Ossian, and last name is Sweet, just like sweet.
Okay. You know that sounds like a tasty drink.
I'm gonna go post over there.
That's like a Sonic, one of them Sonic slushies. Get you one of them Ocean Sweets.
That shit do sound refreshing in the motherfucker.
Sound refreshing. And his middle name is Haven. Okay, so Ocean Haven Sweet. Ocean. So there's like, okay, so Ocean Haven Sweet. October 30th, 1895 to March 20th, 1960. Damn, he didn't get to see the Civil Rights bill. Was an African-American physician in Detroit, in the state I will not name. He is known for being acquitted of murder. Hold on. He is known for being acquitted of murder in 1925 after he and his friends used armed self-defense against a hostile white mob protesting after Sweet moved into their neighborhood. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He got acquitted of killing white people in Detroit before the Civil Rights Bill. Lord.
That's crazy. I ain't gonna
Lord. This man killed white people in Detroit before the Civil Rights Bill passed and he got acquitted. I'm gonna read the rest of this. Born in Florida to a farming family, Sweet went to he from the crib. He just ended up in that shitty ass state. Wilberforce University. Wilberforce University, for those that don't know, I was born and grew up less than 5 minutes from Wilberforce University. Less than 5 minutes. I could walk to Wilberforce University from my house. Florida to a farming family, Sweet went to Wilberforce University for preparatory work and his undergraduate degree. He earned his medical degree from Howard University, also a historically Black university. After moving into a white neighborhood, the Sweets had stones thrown at their house, breaking windows. Shots were fired and one white man was killed and another wounded. Sweet and his wife and 9 associates in the house were all arrested and charged with murder. At the first trial, the jury could not agree on verdicts for several defendants. The judge declared a mistrial. The court accepted the defense motion to sever the defendants, and the prosecutor decided to first try Henry Sweet, Ocean's youngest brother. After the all-white jury of whoa! Let's go! After the all-white jury acquitted Henry Sweet, the prosecutor declined to prosecute the rest of the defendants and dismissed the charges against them. Collectively, these were known as the Sweet Trials. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People provided assistance for the defense of Sweet and his co-defendants, first hiring Charles Mahoney to represent the clients, then hiring the noted attorney Clarence Darrow, I know him, which brought more national attention and media to the trial. In the years after the trial in Detroit, his daughter, wife Gladys, and brother Henry all died of tuberculosis. But he died by suicide in 1960 after a series of unsuccessful professional and business decisions that left him destitute. I don't care, Mr. Sweet. I don't care. Ocean Sweet is one of my new favorites. If I'd have known about him before today, he would have been the one that I would have given.
Come on.
Ocean Sweet.
Come on.
See, these are the points of shows like this.
That sounds like a movie.
That people,
sound
yeah,
like
that's a movie, bro.
Ocean Sweet, no bullshit.
Very much this spot.
Man.
So
IBM,
so-
hey,
so
Chef,
was-
IBM said you're gonna get the smoke. He's waiting, bro. But go ahead.
Is it so does that have anything to do with the caricature of and the four brothers? Wasn't they in Detroit?
And not allowing them to have a tag team match.
Mute your mic.
Yes, sir.
What are you talking about, Chef?
In the movie Four Brothers, with Mark Wahlberg and them. Was they in Detroit?
Oh,
They-
buddy, yeah.
Yeah,
his, his character, yeah.
Whose character?
the black dude name was something Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Right,
you
so
talking about the dude that said
who was whipping
get
their
that, what he
ass
said,
and
get
they
down
was-
there and eat with your woman. Is that the guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that nigga.
Man, I loved him in that movie, bro.
So you don't pay the bitch to fuck you. You pay the bitch to leave.
You pay her to leave. Man, he said out of town shooters. I pay Chef, you be picking them, bro. I paid you to get out of town shooters. What did you give me? In town shooters. Oh man. That actor who played him in Four Brothers, he played
It was
a
British
role.
Sweet.
Yeah, African British dude.
Yes, but he played a role. I'm gonna tell you this guy's role. He played a role. It's on Apple. I think it's on Apple TV or Prime. Where he plays a man from outer space.
Oh no, he did play that. The man from outer space. That's
The man from outer space. Oh my. He has played, huh?
Why that ain't come back on? It's supposed to have been another season to that.
Nah, it got canceled because he had to do other stuff, and the black girl didn't want to do it anymore. That was
No,
one
that
of
was
my
good.
favorite.
That one, hold on, that one, and I think he got another Apple one, Brass, where it was like a 6-part series where they lived in the outskirts of New York, right? On the other, and I think it was either a cyber attack or something, and it was like it was like some apocalyptic shit, and him and his daughter like had like a bunker, right? It was good. I gotta figure out I'm gonna look up his movieography because I think y'all will like that. It's only like 6 episodes. He do good work. I like him. He do good work.
You know what else he played in, Chef? Because I'm a sci-fi guy. He played in this movie I forgot the name of the movie, but it was amazing. Where they was fighting these reapers, and he had a sword. He was hunting this lady down who had these powers.
I seen it. Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, and he had the sword. Remember, he hit the nigga in his neck and made him fall back on the. Oh man, he is.
That's the same dude from 12 Years a Slave.
12 Years a Slave. Yep, that's the same dude that got. That's the same dude that Denzel. He beat the life out of in American Gangster in the car.
Yeah, he played his cousin.
Drugs in the car.
He's not a 12 Years a Slave. That's the movie that really put him on, like put him in the big screens for real.
Yeah, he's an amazing actor, bro.
Oh, he's incredible.
Amazing. He's amazing. You're an amazing actor. If you want to participate on the call, you got to join the Discord. I put the link in the Discord. I put the link in the chat if you want to get on this call. Somebody asked if they get on the call. Shouts to Judah, Judah Jeremiah? I don't know who that is, but it says, where is the top atheist over here? The champ gonna give you a chance to become a famous loser. Who is that?
Is that JJ?
Oh, it says Judah Jeremiah, so maybe.
That's JJ, bro.
Man, he always thirsty for a debate. This ain't even about that, bro. We talking about black history, bro.
He been in camp forever.
Tripping, bro.
Okay. I never seen you fight, brother, but you the champ. Hey, congrats to you, man. I wish you the best on your endeavors. I don't know if is any atheists in here want to debate the champ?
First of all, how many atheists are actually on the panel?
I don't know, but before we hey. Let's end the show and then do that. I want to keep this show clean.
Yeah,
okay.
The point is not everybody's an atheist on the panel.
Huh?
I said the point. The point of me saying that is like not everybody's an atheist on the panel.
He probably doesn't know that. He don't know. But what'd you say?
Who won the debate?
JJ wants to debate the top atheist over here.
Oh, that's me.
Okay, so that's Chef JJ. So join the Discord. The link is in there. Y'all can have a conversation after this if you'd like.
I'm your Huckleberry.
You must have seen Val Kilmer in that movie recently. That's about the 5th time you done said that. That's one of the coolest lines in cinematic history.
When somebody wants some smoke, you just gotta let them know. You feel me?
Yeah, I'm your Huckleberry. If you'd like to have that conversation. Let me see. Okay, if you join the Discord, then go in there and talk to Chef. We can get it going. Stu P said JJ needs to go for a walk. Yeah. Shouts to you. And
I'm not debating that nigga. He Hebrew Israelite.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Does anybody? Hey! Does anybody have any others, or are we done? Are we pretty much done?
Tell that nigga bring me General Yohana.
Yeah, we want the wrestler. Who didn't give theirs? Let's see. Gullah, Mujasi, Logic gave his. Cuban gave his. Smalls, Rush, you ain't give one.
I've been working, man. I just got back in here, but I do have one. But he's local to me.
Who is it?
His name is William Granville.
I know who that is. Go ahead. I know exactly. Who that.
You know who he is.
I know exactly who that is. But go ahead, educate.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, but
educate the people.
He's from Trenton, New Jersey.
Yes, he is.
Born in Macon, Georgia. Raised in Trenton, New Jersey. He was a part of the East Trenton Whips, which was the gang out there. But he made it out. He became an executive for Mobile, where he traveled, lived in Kenya for a while.
Yeah.
He started his own ministry, so he became a reverend, started his own ministry. But he's also the founder of Granville Academy, which was a program, that takes young urban children and through a bi-weekly program from grades 8 through 12, teaches them about business
science, and finance. So bi-weekly, you dress up in your blue suit, and he'll have a black speaker come talk to you that's in business. He also had his own school, Granville Charter School, which I attended. I attended both. I actually knew him.
What year?
What years did I go?
Yes. What year did you go?
I was in Granville Academy. I went to Granville Charter School from 8 to 12. 8 to 11th. I went to my last year, but I was also in Granville Academy from 8 to 11th. I actually,
No,
my first time.
What year? Like year of the year?
20? I was in there from, I believe, maybe 99 to 2003. I can't remember the years, but I did look. The first time I went to Ohio was to the Granville Academy.
I know. You know how I know?
Why?
Because I was there in 05. I was there in 05. That's how I know.
So yeah, we had he did a lot around in my neighborhood and a lot for education for children of urban areas. So that's my Black History person.
Yeah, he spoke at a because when he was younger, he worked at a I forgot the name of the burger place, but he worked at a burger place, and that's what pushed him into doing other things. And he went to Delaware State with my uncle. That's how I know him, because my uncle was in that gang you was describing. Chef, you would know him. Not know him, but he was in Aberdeen, Maryland. He was at Pitt Dunn. He went to the Pitt Dunn Research Laboratory. That was one of the first times I'd ever been to Maryland in my life. Great man. Great man. I know him as a child. I can't say I know him personally, but I know him as a child. Great man.
Yeah, I was like I said, I went to Granville. I went to Granville Charter. So I was a part of the football team, and he used to come and cheer us on. We was trash the first year, but every game day he would have either like a half chicken or a steak for us, as a team. He was a great man.
That minute steak. that damn minute steak. That's how I first learned about that damn minute steak.
Yeah.
It was good, but it was a little crazy.
And we got recent Black History. Kendrick Lamar won every hip hop category in the Grammys.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. Speaking of that, shout to
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick J. Cole album dropped last night. It was pretty good. But that's he said recent.
No, I said recent Black History because he won every single hip hop category at the Grammys.
He won every category at the Grammys last on Sunday.
The Grammys don't even count no more, and the hip hop category is just, I guess, is an accomplishment.
You got your hater blockers on today, brother.
Who did he go up against? Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? How could that be? It's like they just gave him everything. Like, do the Grammy board actually review the music? You dig what I'm saying? Like, or they just picking the most popular person right now? Like, because that would be impossible for him to win every category. Like, that mean that the rest of the music, like, I don't even think they listen to it. That's crazy. Yeah, but you know what I mean? If Michael Jackson didn't win every category, and when he was on the top of when he came out with Thriller, how the hell, you know what?
I know you're in your hate. You don't fight the hate. Just let it out. So you don't let it out on somebody else.
Man. I think Michael Jackson did sweep that year for Thriller.
Not every category.
Lionel Richie won one.
Okay.
It wasn't you had motherfuckers fighting. Like, it was like they was listening to the music. You feel me? Like, you just couldn't ignore everybody. You feel me? I don't know.
Reggie tried to shift it. I'm gonna give mine. I was waiting to go last so I can end the show on mine. So if anybody has any more, let me know, and then I'll give mine.
Kendrick Lamar ain't never been that cold with me though. So maybe it's me.
Chef, you arguing that because you probably debated about some shit about taking the walk before like you having
I did what?
I said that sound like a barbershop argument or debate. You just said about taking the walk. I said we got these barbershop conversations, but you actually at the barbershop.
Exactly. Exactly. Most of my arguments is barbershop arguments, but sometimes we had the best conversations in the barbershop. So y'all stop hating on the barbershop talk. You dig what I'm saying? It's where black men meet at, and you dig what I'm saying? We talk about everything sometimes. So, you know.
Mine is.
Hey, Chef, you know that's an evolutionary thing too. Because apes communicate and socialize and they groom each other. So that barbershop, like even women, they talk at this beauty salon. So us socializing in that place where we groom each other, that's like an evolutionary thing that we got way back.
Damn, you hear that, DQ? When apes sitting around picking lice out each other's heads, they chilling with each other. You feel me? They socialize.
All right, let's finish this up because I feel it's going down a different way. Mine is A.G. Gaston.
Hate him.
A.G. Gaston was. Let me mute you out. Give me 1 second. Hey, give me 5 minutes because I can't do this with you, bro. Hate him immediately. A.G. Gaston built Booker T. Washington Insurance Company. And he came and spoke at my church in Ohio when I was really young. And he literally, I think I still have a policy of my own. Our entire family had policies from him. I didn't really know how powerful he was until I read Black Titan as a teen. So A.G. Gaston, Making of a Black American Millionaire. He literally pioneered for Black people the life insurance industry. The nickel and dime. Nickel and dime is actually a term that they would use for, they would have penny policies, nickels and dimes. You send people to the house. You give them a little bit here, give a little bit there, and collectively make sure that the people in the community got buried. He everything about his business was, he kind of used, the way he used insurance and the way he looked at books of business, the way he looked at brokerages, the way he looked at doing kind of multi-level marketing before multi-level marketing was amazing. So, and he didn't really even go after, he made sure he dominated the Black neighborhoods, but he would look at like getting the neglected white neighborhoods too. So I just love it. How many people he put in business, how many people, he always talked about ownership. First time I ever heard about vertical integration. First time I heard about saving, really, outside of from my parents, was A.G. Gaston. So that's my guy. He literally, he's how I run my business today. He's how I run my personal finances today. And just to be able to do it in a time where you just weren't supposed to do it, it was tough. It was definitely tough. He didn't build loud, he built quiet. He didn't try to there's a lot of industries once he got money, but he focused on funeral homes and banks, real estate firms, not just selling real estate, but real estate firms. Yeah, A.G. Gaston was my guy. He got a great book, Black Titan. Go check it out. That's my guy. That's who impacted me more because I still use the things that he taught today. Yeah. That's me. That's it. Anybody else got anybody else?
Oh man, dope show, man. Love Black History, I swear. So, I mean, I appreciate all y'all for contributing. You know what I mean? I actually got to sit back and listen. You know what I mean? Like, so I appreciate that. You know what I mean? So, you know, I wanted a little bit more from Logic. Pause. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But he probably working. So, I mean, I think Corey set the tone. You dig what I'm saying? And then the rest of y'all just roll right through. So, you know what I mean? This was dope. You know what I mean? And Mujasi killed it. You feel me? I would say Corey and Mujasi definitely, you know, held it down for us. You know what I mean? By being
So Condi was the best African American in history. Then is that what y'all telling me?
No,
I'm saying like yours and Mujasi's and
the energy. Y'all set the bar.
Very thought out. You dig what I'm saying? You could tell it kind of the people that y'all met, it meant something to y'all, kind of. You feel me? So it was thoughtful. You know what I mean? So
hey, I just looked up A.G. Gaston and some quotes. Says I don't need to fight the system. I need to own enough of it so it has to deal with me. Protests can change a moment, but ownership changes generations. The loudest man in the room usually owns the least. If your people will always need a service, then build the service and build it to last. And my job is not to be liked. My job is to leave something standing when I'm gone. So those are 5 rules that he believed in. So,
man, I like that last one. Really, that really touched me. My job is to leave something standing when I'm done.
Somebody in closing the show, we're going to close the show and then restart it because we found out this morning that Dr. Ben was a Muslim. Is that what y'all said?
Yeah.
So we want to keep this show clean and then completely try to rip apart Reggie's life for the next 3 hours.
Can we do rebuttals after that? Because I don't believe that. I'm rebutting.
Yeah, I know we're gonna do rebuttals, but I like to keep one part clean at least, so we can say we did it, and then now we can go back and relax on this Friday, this Freestyle Friday, so we can have a conversation about someone else said Marion Barry.
That's dope. That's dope.
Marion Barry is my favorite person in Black history. This guy's name is Dr. Sniff Blink Johnson. Marion Barry is my favorite person in Black history. My boy was smoking crack and being the mayor at the same time.
The job's mayor, man. He gave you a job though.
Yeah.
Sure people are
He definitely. He was like, you remind me.
I had a job through summer work. That shit was all up and down the East Coast. That shit was crazy.
Yeah,
Hey, Rush, you know you remind me of? Sharp Jane. That's exactly who Marion Barry was.
That nigga said he was smoking crack and being the mayor at the same time. We got to knock it off, bro. We got to knock it the fuck off.
But see, here's the thing. But see, said, nah,
Brass, don't clean
that ain't
that
take away from his greatness, though.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's the truth.
He was
still great. He was still great. Yeah. I mean,
he got elected afterwards, though.
Afterwards, because he was such a good
yeah, exactly. And they said that in the chat. It's fact that it's crazy that he did that and then turned around and got elected again. The truth can't never be slandered. Like, if that's the truth of his life, like
it don't gotta precede him though.
No, I agree. But if you smoke crack and then went on to do something great, you shouldn't lie about it and act like you didn't do it. You know what I mean?
It's like a nigga can have a laundry list of shit he did great, and then they're like, well, he smoked crack too, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, who cares?
But ain't that kind of how it's supposed to? All right.
Nah, at least not for me.
No. Let me stop.
Because if we added an infraction on everybody.
We know ain't nobody perfect.
You can name a list like, man, that nigga got a really great job, but that nigga did some wild shit before too. Like, we can say that about everybody. But you gotta kind of hold on. Let me end this show so we can have this conversation. I'm gonna end this show and come right back. But you gotta. All right, let me stop.
Hey, appreciate y'all. Fetty,
Hold
I
on,
know
real
Fetty
quick.
just got in here. Fetty, do you want to give one before we go? Or Howard, do you want to give one before we go? Most impactful Black historical person to you beside that, but not named Malcolm X or MLK.
I would say Daniel Hale Williams because I think it was like
good
second or
one.
third grade. Second or third grade, that was like I remember that vividly being like my first like Black History project. So I went all out and decked out the post, and that kind of was like a foundation for me to learn more about Black history when I was younger. So I'd say Daniel Hale Williams.
Howard, I know you. That's sharp, Fetty. I appreciate that. Howard, I know you. Hold on, Howard. I know you in California, so most famous Black historical person that impacted your life besides Tookie Williams.
Actually, I don't live in Cali anymore, but besides Tookie, I'm gonna go with Hildreth Hal Walker.
Who was that?
A lot of you guys probably don't know him. You Google him, and he was. The reason I'm saying that he's great in science, and he's also my mother's uncle. Well, I guess which would make it my uncle. So, yeah, Googling, he did some good stuff there with NASA and all that, with the moon landing and shit like that. So,
okay, so he was in the he was an astronaut.
No. He is when they put that what is that thing, the reflector thing on the moon, he was instrumental in designing that laser thing that hit that reflector thing on the moon when they went up there.
Okay, fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
But, yeah, that's it.
All right, cool. We're gonna start the next show where Cuban's gonna explain all of this about Dr. Ben and Professor James Small.
Hey,
so
real
we'll be back
quick,
in
Brian.
about 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Hey, when you went to the Granville Academy, did you have a set of twins in your group?
No.
Okay. All right.
I know the set of twins you're talking about.
I got one more.
I know the set of twins you're talking about, though.
I got one more. We forgot.
Yes.
We forgot Soldier Boy. He was the first nigga to do everything.
Shout out to IBM. I think IBM got Soldier Boy beat.
Oh yeah, IBM was the first Soldier Boy.
Yeah, Indigenous Black man was the first Soldier Boy before Soldier Boy. That nigga did everything first. All right, I'm gonna end the show. We'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, Cuban, you gotta drop this information. We ready?